Hello everyone, guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yes, there's something hitting on the social media now. Recently and currently, Ibrahim Toure, the president of the Burkina Faso, has been one of the biggest topic globally, running everywhere in Africa, in Asia, in London, in USA, in Latin America. Everyone is talking, and we are looking at the unity of the United States of Africa. But the question is, why are the West so scared of the Africa unity? Now, one of the biggest influencers of the YouTubers and also the TikToker, he made a video of the Burkina Faso, and unfortunately, he was forced to take down his video. Now, ask yourself a question, why? But the guy was just explaining how the West have been, taking advantages of the Africa, especially the France from the West African country. It is really crazy, and it's really crazy and so barbaric. Now, anyway, to cut the story short, I want to play this video for you guys to listen what this man really was trying to say about Burkina Faso. But then we need to dive into it and talk about it. Why was he forced to take down his video? Because if not, he was not going to be paid. Now, why are they threatening now the content creators? Because now they realize that now BBC might not give us exactly the detail of what we want. Al Jazeera might not give us exactly what we want, because even the CNN must not give us exactly what people want. But now we see that most of the content creators, they're getting up into the real digging of the truth, and they're putting it out there on the social media. So ask yourself a question: why are the West so scared about Africa? Why are the West so scared about the unity of Africa? So we need to unite no matter what, guys. The time is coming. So Ibrahim Toure, he is leading the battle. He is leading the unity. And I'm telling you, when you look at the energy that people have right now about Ibrahim Toure, it is something big like never before. And you guys might talk, you might say, oh guy, why, what's up? What's wrong with Africa right now? Yes, we have been in the darkness for so long. Especially our leaders who still goes down back to the West, and then they bow down. They want to eat some bread and some teas and sodas, a glass of wine, take some beers. Hey niggas, guys, what's up? Time has come to an end. No. So if we to have all what we need, then it will be. For example, in Uganda, we have a leader who is a soldier, and now this doesn't, most of them don't like her because of that. That's why they keep bringing different people to try to, disturb our peace and so on. Now, when they see the president of the Burkina Faso is a soldier and he has come into power, they also want to take him down, because they believe most of these civilians, sometimes one of the challenges, they get out of the truth and they go back because they want that bread and the tea and the soda and the wine and the beer, whatever it is. But the soldiers, they understand exactly why the people in their country needs to be helped. So, guys, just take a little bit of a listening what this guy was trying to explain about the unity of Africa and about Burkina Faso, and why are the West completely not happy with that. So let's take a look of it.
Week, you might not have heard, but there is a revolution against the West brewing in Africa right now. And this one man from Burkina Faso is the reason why. Let me introduce you guys to 37-year-old Ibrahim Traore. He is the second youngest head of state in the world.
Yeah. Now you can see all this what I'm talking about. So we are seeing that Africa has almost every resources, minerals that the world needs for whatever. So let me tell you, during the time of the slave trade, I think the reason why people see a lot of the industrial revolutions taking place in Europe, to be honest, every resources were from Africa. So they got the resources from here, the mineral from here, even the labor. So the labor, we were not given freedom to go willingly. We were forced to go there and work. So the African builds the industry in Europe, in the West, generally everything. It is so shameful that even France still want to own some of the African states. Hey, France, we are sorry. Thing is not going to go well with you. You either accept the truth that the world has changed, a new generations that is coming up. Anyway, let's take more, guys. This is really so interesting.
World right now, and what his supporters say he represents is simple: African independence. Because here's the truth, Africa is the richest continent in the world in terms of resources, from gold, diamonds, and oil to cobalt, lithium, and rare earth materials that power your smartphones, my camera, our electric cars. Yet at the same time, most African countries rank among the poorest in the world. So, what's up with that? Well, partly, and remember, there's many reasons for one thing to be true. One of the reasons is that for over a century now, multinational...
Let me first put a pause there. You understand that the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Toure, is giving us the energy for us again to feel alive again. Now, to be honest, most of the African leaders, for example, look at the president of Ghana, is really giving us also support. But the president of Nigeria, we are sorry for him, he thinks that he can stop this movement that has started. Let him forget it. My brothers and sisters, these guys, they're just joking. You see, time has come that we have learned something that the world need to know. By then, we were not yet fully realizing what is happening. It is the same people, the West, that we talk today that led the downfall of the Muammar Gaddafi. Gaddafi had the plans of the unity of Africa and creating of the United States of Africa, and he supported Africa. But now you look at how Libya's look like. The same people came and caused confusions in Sudan. Okay, now look at how Sudan is. Now, ask yourself a question. Why do they want Africa to be destabilized all the time? Because they believe that the moment Africans unite like this, the West will have a challenge of their industry. First of all, look at Congo. Congo has one of the richest minerals we have in the entire world, in the entire planet. Congo is very rich, that has everything. That's why you will never see peace in Congo. Why? Because they are supporting it. I keep asking myself a question. Ask yourself a question. Why? Who is supporting those guys of the M23? Now, the claims come and they're saying Rwanda is supporting the M23. You will be shocked one day that to hear that it is all an initiative that started building from the West. So they don't want Congo to stabilize and have peace. Now, when someone like Ibrahim Toure come and say, hey guys, we need to unite, we need to defend our own motherland. Now, that is what is making them peace off. Now, maybe we're happy for Russia. Russia is saying, okay guys, you know what? I don't understand. Me, I don't want anything from where? From Africa. But I want Africa to develop themselves. Come here. China will say, now for us, we don't want to colonize you guys, but we can do business. So you give us the market, but also support you, develop yourself, you build your roads. Now, the challenge we are having here in Africa is also our leaders. There are those leaders who, instead of working for the people, they're working for themselves. So they're taking an advantage from Russia and China. Whatever they're giving them, it will come into their pocket. Guys, why can't we change something? Something needs to change. We are not going to stay there for so long. For how long are we going to be in that kind of manner? Now, if it's possible, if you are saying, let all the military soldiers, they should take over the leadership of the Africa as the head of the state, it's okay. As long as we are having a way forward to unite Africa. But there are those who are civilians, we see them, they are focused on serving their people, but also building the unity of uniting Africa. For example, the president of Senegal, you see how he's passionate and working for the people. So the president of Ghana recently is really looking into how to work with the people. So when Africa is uniting, this becomes a threat to some of them. Anyway, they will be fine. But for us, as we are saying, the unity is coming, the movement has started, and Africa will unite. So if Ibrahim Toure is going to be the lead and the foundation of that movement for us to unite, then let it be. Guys, the West, let's do business. You know, Africa has the biggest market for all your goods of the industry that you guys are producing. We all know that. So why can't you guys accept it instead of us keep pulling rope each another and fighting one another? So let's accept one thing. We are the market that we provide, but also we also have something that we want to sell into Europe. So allow us to develop, allow us to unite, but don't fight us. Because at the end of the day, you might have the power, the military strength, you might have every kind of weapon that you people have, which is okay, we accept it, but do we need to fight? Okay, we are not supposed to be the enemy among ourselves. Let's accept something. Let's agree to unite and build a bigger nation. Okay, a bigger nation that everyone, let's build a planet that we are all proud of. You know, because one day no one knows where the enemy might come from. You know, we are talking about the aliens and so on. Those Americans talk about the aliens, what they call the aliens, the aliens. We don't understand. Those guys might approach us one day, so we need to have the unity, man. So I hope you guys get what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's listen what this man is saying.
One thing to be true, one of the reasons is that for over a century now, multinational corporations and foreign powers, well, they have been extracting Africa's wealth without building long-term prosperity. Couple of examples for you. Mining contracts often send up to 90% of profits abroad and leaving behind environmental devastation. Foreign companies often win billion-dollar worth infrastructure deals like to build roads, airports, and railways, but then rather hiring locally, they import workers and send profits home. France has even charged former colonies so-called colonial debt and still controls 14 African countries' currencies through their CFA franc. And there is like endless examples of this, and I'm not even talking about the new wave, which is the tech industries. And they are just scooping up all of the lithium and the cobalt to transition to green energy, while the African countries themselves rarely get more than a cut of the raw material price. And this is where Ibrahim Traoré comes into the picture. You see, Burkina Faso is a former French colony, and when he rose to power in 2022, he began accusing France of neocolonialism, which in other words is when a country is still kind of trying to control the other, but now through more hush means than just directly. So things like propaganda, government destabilization, coup attempts, assassinations, things like that. So when Traoré came into power, he made a whole bunch of major changes. He ordered French troops to leave the country, ending military agreements with them. He banned the use of British and French colonial-style judicial wigs in effort to decolonize their judicial system, although this is largely symbolic since Burkina Faso in particular doesn't necessarily use them. It's more like Kenya, Nigeria. But he's also been making changes far larger than banning wigs. He started cutting companies involved in Burkina Faso's infrastructure development, like roads, airports, like I mentioned before. And now he started replacing them with locally equipped and trained workers, also buying almost 1,000 road building machines for them to use. He's introduced policies to boost local control over food production and processing. He's pushing for greater state control over their own energy, particularly electricity, so they reduce dependence on foreign suppliers and improved access. And then, this is probably the clearest statement to the West yet, he's been buying back a number of the country's major gold mines. And buying back being the key word because they were previously owned by foreign entities. And the thing is, he didn't just take it back with force, with military control. He bought it. He paid $80 million for 2 of the country's gold mines. He called the purchases a reclaiming of national wealth from exploitative foreign ownership. But the story gets crazier, right? Of course it does, because what started in Burkina Faso is now become something much bigger. They have now joined forces with Mali and Niger to form the Alliance of Sahel States, basically saying, we've got each other's backs and we're all done with Western influence. Niger themselves ended an agreement with the US that allows the US troops to operate in their country. Ivory Coast and Senegal are now also pushing to remove foreign military bases. And a former Nigerian senator described Traoré's actions as the spirit of a continent yearning to be free, dignified, and prosperous. And I think that is exactly why we are seeing it slowly transition from one country in Africa into Africa as a whole. Because a major question that many of these countries are still asking this week.
So guys, now you can see exactly what I've been talking about. So you feel like that's why the pressure was too much on him. So this guy was forced to delete that video from TikTok. But anyway, one thing they have forgotten that this is a .com era. So a .com era, there's nothing you can hide. There's nothing that you can take away. People will always have the evidence. People will always have something to share again. So anyway, this is the reason why his thing was taken out. The guy was really giving, and when you look at what he said, the guy was talking the truth. But now the challenge is, because he also a man from the West, if he was from Russia or China, I don't think they were going to push him to take down his video. But unfortunately, he's also from the West and one of the biggest influencers in the West. And of course, with over, when you look at his TikTok account, has over 15 million followers and 1 point something, billions likes. So I believe he's a bigger influencer with a lot of money. So they had to force him to take down his video. But the truth is, he was saying the right thing. So guys, in your comment, what do you think? For how long should Africa stay in this kind of life? Is our problems the leadership who are civilians, or what is it? So put your comment down there on the video and let's get to understand and see how we can put these things together. Yes, apart from all, I remain Kidega Michael, yeah, His Excellency the President of the Uganda Democratic Unions, and here we go and here we come, building Africa for Africa and making Africa great again. Apart from that, I got nothing much to say. I just want to say, see you guys next time. God bless.